Hi, Ken.
Hey Glenn, how are
What's
you?
up? How's it going?
Pretty good. Happy fall, happy autumn. Did
Happy,
you
happy,
do anything
happy,
to
happy,
celebrate the equinox?
happy monthly Q&A. Oh, fall is
Yeah,
old news. The new news
really
is the Ken and Glenn monthly Q&A. Thanks everyone for joining us. It looks like we have already 60 something viewers joining us on YouTube, and we're
amazing.
looking for the most exciting Q&A we've had in a while
Guys,
because
if we can get to 100 viewers, we will put interview mode into beta. But only if we can get this to 100 viewers.
so
Okay?
so this is our plan today, guys. Um, we we've been doing these monthly Q&As. I don't know why I'm soft. I'll put this
Didn't
up
this
here.
happen last time?
Yeah, it's this mic. Um, so maybe I'll just do this.
Hang it on your shirt.
Am I?
You got louder definitely when you
All
brought it
right. Well,
closer.
I've just brought the mic closer to my face. All right. So here's the deal. We've been doing these monthly Q&As, and we've found that over the last couple of months, um, most of the questions have been, when are you adding interview mode? So
Yeah,
we were
so
like,
for anybody who doesn't understand interview mode, the idea is you want to bring a remote person into your live stream so that you can do an interview or just a co-host. And in general, this was tedious because you needed to use third-party software, Skype or Zoom. And people said, why can't we just do this without that? Can't you guys make some kind of a video conferencing system built into the app? And we said, no, I don't want to do that. But then we decided we did want to do that. So
well
we
said,
want to thank
well said.
everybody for their persistence in helping us get to this point where we are really excited to be starting the process of rolling this out into public beta.
And
Hit that applause
what
button,
does
Glenn.
that now? What does that mean
Glenn,
for you
hit
guys?
the, hit the applause button.
Oh, okay. So 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 public beta. What does this mean? This means that we will be rolling out a beta version of Ecamm Live that has interview mode on next Thursday, October 1st, and so that's the big announcement of the day. Is that public beta will happen October 1st. And how do you get the public beta? We will be posting more information on this as the week goes on. But what you want to do now is, if you're not part of our beta group, go over to Facebook group called Ecamm Live Beta. Gonna want to join that group because that's where all the action is going to be in the next couple weeks. Trying this out, making sure that it is ready for prime time. It's the kind of thing where we want to just make sure we do a solid public beta to make sure this is working perfectly for you guys. Now,
So here's
it's actually been working really well. We're really happy with it, but there's a lot of different browsers out there. There's a lot of different use cases out there. A lot
Yeah,
of
so
different internet connections out there.
here's what a public beta is. Public beta means we are ready for you to try it and report back to us issues that you find. Um, because, like Glenn said, we can't try all the browsers, we can't try all the devices. We also don't know what happens when 1,000 people all start using this at once. The beta, if you're from the UK, is a time where we get to put this thing under heavy load and use it under lots of different scenarios and uh, hear from you guys how it worked. Different bandwidth scenarios, different devices for your camera and mic of your guests, and different kinds of computers they're coming from. Because let me tell you a little bit about how this feature works.
Don't go into detail. We don't want. We're up to our 100 viewers, so it sounds like we can do it, Ken.
Woo-hoo! Do an
But if
air
you
horn
start
effect.
explaining the technical details of this feature, I think we might start losing YouTube views. I'm just warning you. But what we want to show you today is we want to show you exactly how this works, and so we're gonna take you through it step by step. Spoiler alert: it's pretty simple, and then all of the features we've added surrounding this to help you guys do a successful live interview show will be other things we need to show you, because there are some other things we've added in there in the periphery that are going to make this really, really useful.
Like,
And
so, like most Ecamm Live features, it's really simple to start. Anybody can use it. But if you're a power user, like I know a lot of you are, then it has really powerful features embedded inside.
and we got a question already that, are we using it now? Where'd that
Yes, we
go?
are.
Yeah, we're using the interview feature right now. We've been using it for the past couple Q&As and the past couple broadcasts we've been doing as a test. I don't know if you guys were watching back in June or July when it went horribly wrong. But we fixed those issues, and it's solid now. So Ken, how are you joining the call right now?
I'm about 25 miles away, and I am joining from Chrome browser. So I am the guest in Glenn's live stream.
Yeah. So
So he's running.
the neat thing about that is I can control Ken's background. Ken's got a green screen background, so if I want to put him on the beach, I can move him to the beach.
Nice. What about like a pink living room
Oh, can't be done. Pink living room.
or pinky orange kind of living room?
I don't know if I have a. I can put you in the same room as me. But anyway, so I'm in control of this. I can change the layout. I can, if I want to do just Ken, I can click on Ken, and now I've got just a heads up of Ken. So the way we did this, if you're familiar with our Skype integration, these come in as camera sources, so you can bring them in as needed. And what we decided to do was, what we realized that there are kind of two ways to run an Ecamm live show, right? There's the idea of setting up scenes, setting up all your scenes, a single camera, split screen, putting in all the graphics you want, and then during the show, you're actually just switching scenes. And the other way to do it is sort of what we're calling an ad hoc show, where people are calling in, you're bringing people in on the fly, setting up split screens, and maybe doing things kind of as the show goes on. You don't have scenes set up in advance. And we wanted to, in the interview mode, be able to support both of those methods really well. And I really like the solution we came up with that I'm going to show you today. You guys can let us know what you think. So, Ken, do you think I should just share my screen and see, and so people can see how this works?
Let's back up a little bit first. We're getting a lot of questions about this feature in general. We should say that this will be a pro feature. So pro account holders will get this feature. Standard people won't. They'll have to upgrade if they want to use the interview mode. It will be part of the trial, so people will be able to try it out. But basically, this is a pro feature. So if you don't have pro, you gotta get pro.
Yeah, you'll be able to try it out, but this is definitely going to be something that's only in the pro plan. And if you have, we'll be releasing all the details about what it means to have all the different plans. I know some people have a lifetime membership if they bought it back in the day. The original group there, the OG group, has the original plan. We'll be explaining a little bit later about how that works. And John Eric says he's never set up scenes, so you'll like the other feature we're gonna show you, which is down here, the automatic titling. As you can see, when I switched over to Ken ad hoc, he gets his title. So what do you think of that? So no more fixing titles on the fly. That is all straightened out for you. So should we dive into
how many people can we add at a time?
We're doing 4 guest maximum right now. We're gonna see how it goes. The way we're doing this with guest mode, it does put a little bit of strain on your computer as you add guests. So right now we're doing 4 guest max. So it could be, and then that's not counting you. So you're talking about as many cameras as you want on the local side, plus the 4 guests. We think that would typically be enough. If you're really, really itching to do a 5 or 6 or 7 person show, get in touch with us. Maybe we can we can have you try something, right? Ken's like, no.
Yeah, so just to clarify, interview mode is going to be a pro feature. We're not changing anything else. So there might have been some confusion. Green screen, that's always been in there. That's a standard feature. But this new interview feature will be in the pro plan. So we want you guys to get in that beta group so you can try this out on October 1st and let us know how it goes. For example, we've had this in a private beta for a month now. We've been getting great feedback from those guys, but we need it to now go into wider array of people trying it in different situations. The way that this works is you send a URL, a link to your guests, and they click it, and then whatever computer they're on or whatever device they're on, they join your live. If someone tries to join from an Android phone from 10 years ago, we want to know what's gonna happen.
We recommend, we have recommendations, right? I mean, people should be joining probably from a modern computer with Safari or Chrome. Phones do work. If someone's in a pinch and they can't join from their computer, you can join from your phone, and it actually works pretty well. I mean, you it's not ideal though. I mean, it seems to me like you get a better picture quality joining from a computer, and also it won't be moving around all over the place. But in testing, we very commonly in our testing routine will call our phone, and it works fine.
Yeah, mobile works great if you can prop your phone up
And
and
Aaron's
make
asking
sure
about
nobody calls you.
Aaron's asking about the situation with users. Since the other person's just joining from their browser, they don't have to have Ecamm Live at all. The
Or
Ecamm
even,
Live app isn't even involved in joining as a guest. It's completely through the browser. You can send your guest link to anyone, and they can hop on and join.
yeah, Ian's saying he prefers his guests to be on desktop computers. There's issues with joining from a phone. Like, what if somebody calls you, or what if your phone runs out of batteries? So yeah, computer's always better.
It does suck the battery.
Yeah.
So should we demo this a little, Ken? Now that we got all those details out of the way, you can tell I'm anxious to demo.
Yes.
All right, so let me bring my computer screen on here and show you how this works. All right, so hopefully now you can see my screen. It might be a little difficult to read all the details there, but I'm in Ecamm Live right now. This is the main window, my comments, and here is the new interview window down there. You can see Ken and I. So what we've done here is we have introduced the concept of a host camera. So I now have my cam link picked as my camera, so I'm actually in this interview window. I
Can you
brought
zoom in on
Ken in.
that, Glenn?
What's that?
Can you pinch and zoom in on that?
I don't think I can. I'm just sharing my entire screen. But
Okay.
and then down here you can see Ken has been brought in as a guest, and this is what I was talking about the ad hoc mode. So if I want to put Ken in just full screen, all I have to do is click the solo button, and now Ken is on the show solo. If I want to go back to me, solo. If I want to add Ken in on the right, boom, Ken's on the right. Oh, maybe I want Ken on the left. Switches over to the left. So you can see how this is really easy to just run a show without having to set up scenes in advance and without having to worry about messing around with the camera switcher. If you want to, the goal here was to be able to drive your whole interview from this new interview window. And man, is it fun. Uh, Now, what if you wanted to set up scenes in advance? To do that, you use what we're calling placeholders. So I can assign Ken to one of these guest placeholders. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I can set up my scene in advance using that guest placeholder. And then when Ken calls in, if he called in earlier, he's already going to be assigned to that placeholder. If he's not yet, I just do assign to placeholder. And then he will take that slot in all the scenes you've set up using that placeholder. And it works great. So try both methods, test them out, see how they're looking. And someone's asking about green room. Yes, we do have the concept of a green room in Ecamm Live's interview feature. The way it works is when someone calls in, they are not immediately in your show, meaning their audio is not coming in to the show. That's important because say you're doing some sort of a call-in show where people are like calling in a little in advance, you don't want them to immediately be part of your show.
Sound. You don't want the sound to be coming from them either.
Yeah. And so once they're in, they're going to show up in this interview window down here, and then it will automatically remove them from the green room if they're on screen. So we realize there's not really a point in making it so you manually have to take them out of the green room if they're literally visible in your show. Clearly, you don't want them in the green room anymore, so we automatically take you out of the green room. And if you wanted to take someone out earlier, you can take them out, put them back in the green room if maybe you don't want their audio in the show anymore. We think that's working pretty well, but let us know what you think. And if you don't want green rooms, you can turn it off in the settings. So
to answer a question that Gordy is asking, the guests are seeing the whole show. So I will show this in a minute, but I'm seeing the live output of the show. I'm also seeing the comments and the viewer count. So it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
And
I'm also hearing the actual show.
That brings us to the next. That brings me to the next feature, which is Ken can actually share his screen. So if you're in a browser that supports screen sharing, Chrome does a really nice job of this. Safari does, but doesn't really give you as many options. You can actually share your screen very easily. Do you want to try that, Ken? People can see what
it will create like a tunnel effect.
Yeah, he's gonna share his screen, and you're gonna see the guest feature, and just like fair warning, it's gonna do that weird infinite tunnel thing because that's just the way video works.
What if I just shared what if I shared should I just share my whole screen?
Yeah, just share your whole screen.
Okay.
And I can I'll show you how this comes.
So my screen is sharing now.
All right. So when he shares his screen, you see down here in the guest window that his screen is coming in. And here's more of these ad hoc buttons. I'm going to say add him in and add him in with a pip. So you can see his screen comes in, and there he is down in the corner. So I didn't have to do anything.
This is my Chrome window. My sound's coming in, right?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yeah, so this is creating a little bit of a tunnel effect, but here's my Chrome window. You can see that I can see the live show. It's creating a tunnel because the live show is going into the live show. I can see myself down here. I can see the comments coming in on the right and the viewer count. Nice. I also have the ability to do things like change my camera, change my mic, mute myself, and if I'd rather see myself big and the show small, I can swap it. And then I can also switch to dark mode. This was a requested feature. I have a switch down here.
Switch it to dark mode.
And I can go into to dark mode.
Beautiful, beautiful dark mode.
I'm in dark mode, yeah.
And you can see
so all I had to do to get here was go to put a URL in. Don't go to that URL. And then this page just came right up.
Yeah, so you can see how easy that was. I didn't have to set up any sort of a scene in advance for that. That came in automatically with an option for just the screen or a screen with picture-in-picture. If you wanted to set up your scene in advance and customize it, you can still do that using the placeholders. And someone's asking about headphones. So he said, unlike Skype, the host and guest do not need to wear headphones. We've always had an echo cancellation feature in the app that will eliminate the need to wear headphones, but it's always been a little bit not so reliable. There's just so many moving parts when you're using Ecamm Live and Skype together. They each have their own audio settings. etc., etc. We haven't been using headphones, and the echo cancellation is effectively canceling out Ken's voice when it comes out of my speakers and back into my microphone. You should not be hearing an echo when you turn on echo cancellation. So the answer is no, you don't need headphones on either end.
You're always going to sound better with headphones, but you don't need them.
Yeah, echo
I was
cancellation.
Gonna put me back in, Glenn? I was going to use a kind of a headset for the show today, but it wasn't looking that good with the green screen, so we nixed it at the last minute. And I'm just using the built-in microphone.
See Doc here in the comments. He's begging to differ. I think he's saying, you know what, tell your guests to wear headphones because you just never know what's going to happen. I guess we could say if you want to live dangerously, just go with open speakers. Maybe test in advance, see how it sounds, and if it doesn't sound right, fall back to headphones. But we have been not using them here. Someone's asking about how you invite someone. So this is a really cool, interesting, easy way to do it. This is going to look familiar if you've used other platforms. The interview window provides a link. So down here, it doesn't show it's not going to show right now because I'm sharing my screen, we're masking it out. But you do copy link. It's copied into your clipboard, and then you can send that to the person you want to join. And all they need to do is click that link. It'll open up in Chrome or Safari, and then they'll be in the show. And the link is going to be the same link. It's going to stay the same until you manually change it. So say you sent someone a link a couple days in advance. That's okay. They can still use it a couple days in advance. If then you decide, well, you know what, that person turned out to be crazy, I don't want them to know my link anymore, I don't want them to like Zoom bomb my show, you can click this little reset button here, and it will change your green screen link across the board, and your link will be different, and people can no longer join using that link. And which reminds me, we could demo the whole process right now by bringing on a guest and showing you guys the whole flow. Should we do that, Ken?
Like a second guest?
Yeah. Let me tell someone to call in here.
Don't you want to show the process of sending them the link?
Well, I already sent the link over. So a couple minutes ago, I sent a link over to our surprise guest, and
it'll be the same link for all of your guests. We considered separate links, but it gets too complicated for everybody.
So if you're watching, Doc, call in. So now Doc is calling in. So you can see down here it says he wants to join. So I'm just going to click the green button to answer. It says guest is in green room. I want to go ahead and add him in as a split screen. So I'll do add to right. How you doing?
Aloha.
Aloha. Did I pronounce
does that mean
right?
you're in Hawaii?
Yes. I'm muting YouTube so I can only hear this because it was driving me crazy for a second. So you have to remind the guests if they have the stream open to mute the stream because it would drive their internal head mental.
Oh my God, we get customer support requests where someone says, I don't know what's going on. My audio is looping in a 10-second cycle. And we say, I know what's wrong. Your guest has the show up in a different window.
I just wanted to let you guys know I didn't wear this for you. I am a card carrying member of the Red Sox Nation, so don't think it's just for you guys.
That's a Hawaii thing, right?
What, being a Red Sox fan?
Yeah.
No, actually, you guys are young, so you might remember my uncle Dennis, aka Oil Can Boyd.
What? Is your uncle?
Mm.
What? What a small world.
Yeah, so I've been a member of the Red Sox Nation for quite a while.
Nice.
Okay,
but he's not my favorite player, though.
We're glad you could join us on our Q&A. This is our special guest, and you. How did you do that? Do you have some sort of special technology?
It's the special picture frame.
So
Big Papi watches over me.
So tell us, Doc, was it easy to come into the show? Was it
absolutely
simple?
Where this is going to come in handy, and I struggle with this on my DJ's live stream thing because these guys are very, very technically inclined when it comes to mixers and turntables and whatnot. but we tell them to install Skype to be a guest on they're like, what? Skype? I don't remember my Skype password. And it's been so now to be able to just send somebody a link that they can just click and they're there. Only thing they need to know how to do is type in their name and pick a camera.
That
Super
is our
simple.
intent. That is what we hope. So again, like, okay, I'm driving this. I'm gonna click that solo button down here. I want to put Doc full screen, and now he's full screen. So you can see how easy that is to drive your show. And I can even go back. So I had that 3 up before. I can click this back button, and it should bring back that 3 up layout automatically.
Oh, sweet.
Pretty slick. I can maybe
And for the record, I am using virtual cam. If anyone was going to ask that question, it's just habitual at this point, but it not necessary in this particular aspect, I guess.
yeah. I mean, we're getting
Yeah,
this
I'm also
question
using
again
virtual cam.
about whether guests need an Ecamm license. No, they do not. You can just join right in your browser. You don't need any sort of license. But Ken and Doc right now, they are using Ecamm Live Virtual Camera as part of their setup going into Chrome.
Yes.
But that's completely not
Yeah,
necessary to do.
I wanted to be able to use the Canon on the USB connection, so I put the virtual camera in as well. So my
That
Canon's coming
question
in.
did come up, Ken. I
Yeah, my
saw it
Canon.
run by.
It's a T6i coming USB into Ecamm virtual camera into Chrome. So it's kind of a convoluted setup. Totally not necessary. I could be using the built-in camera. It just wouldn't look. The colors wouldn't look as good. Yeah, and and remember, me and Doc are both seeing the broadcast and hearing the broadcast. So if Glenn was to roll a clip, play a sound effect, or screen share, we can hear everything that he hears, or everything that the viewers hear at the same time that we're seeing it.
Yeah, you're basically watching the show and hearing the show, which is a big step up from what we had before with Skype, where you could kind of like pipe the show into Skype using tape and scissors, but it wasn't automatic. This is completely automatic. The guest is going to see exactly what's going on. As far as like when you roll your intro, they're going to hear the music, they're going to see the intro, they're going to be able to see when they're on camera, see their name
So
at the bottom.
one
It's really cool.
thing that might catch people a little bit off guard is that since we are seeing the live feed of the show, there is a tiny bit of latency, which the kids call lag, between me seeing myself now in the broadcast, because I mean, if you think about it, it's going out to Glenn, it's coming back to me. So I mean, it's fairly synced up, but it's not instantaneous, and it's because I'm not seeing just like my own camera feed. I'm seeing the show, so it has to go to Glenn, get composited together with everybody else, and come back to me. So you might notice that. You might say, why is there a little bit of a tiny bit of lag, a tiny bit of latency in what I'm seeing of the show? And it's because it's not just my camera feed, it's the actual show. Glenn's adding the green screen behind me, Glenn's adding the titles and adding Doc in, and then that all comes
Yeah, and
back
to be
to
clear,
me.
that delay is not going to be in your show. It's just something that your guests might notice during the show. So
Yeah.
Right, the guests will see it if the guests are trying to watch the feed, and because people try to watch themselves. When I was in radio, our number one statement when you answer the hey first call, hello, I'll turn your radio down, because they want to hear themselves on the radio.
yeah.
and it's not live. We have purposeful minute delay, so you don't drop any F-bombs or anything on the air. And then so they're hearing this weird thing, and it was always crazy. So you always have to remind people it's okay for them to watch the feed, but know that there is a time difference. I think that's an important thing to remind yourself. Ian mentioned he has a list, and he sends people a list, a list rather, sort of what to expect when expecting. I think that is a fantastic idea, and everyone should do that.
Oh yeah, a little preparation guide is a really good idea. And yeah, just have Ian invite you on his show. He'll send you the list, and then you can just copy that and send it to your guests too.
Yeah. And like any interview live
Writing
you're
that
doing,
down.
like any live you do,
That
you
is
want to
genius.
do a little test in advance. You want to have them call you an hour before and just make sure that they're in a working browser and that it's all going to work, and that they understand that they need good lighting and that they need they need a microphone, and
Yeah.
don't wait until 2 minutes before to give it a try.
Yeah. So this is a good
And a
question
good
coming up
USB mini cable.
that I just put on the screen here. So Io was saying guests could always see the show with virtual cam. What's the difference? There are a couple big differences. One is this is completely automatic. There's no need to make sure virtual cam is punched up and all that. The other big difference is sound. Virtual camera will get you the video. It won't get you the sound. For example, if you're rolling a clip or playing intro music or sharing your screen. Previously, if you wanted your guests to hear the sound from the broadcast, you needed to you configure it with loopback or some sort of sound software. This is completely taking away all the moving parts. We have a bomber already. Should we add Terrence? Should we do it?
Yeah, why not?
So we can show
Go
the
for it.
four up view.
We're going off script.
Here we go.
Raw and Uncut mentioned overlays. Yeah, you can do overlays. What I would probably tell you to do right now is while there's a 4-up of us, screenshot that and then use that as a template to draw your overlay around, or scroll back in the feed when there's a 2-up, when there's just, twindo, when there's a twindo, make a screenshot of that so you can lay out your 2-up, and then when there's 3 of us, make a screenshot of that so you can lay up your 3-up, and then you can use those as a way to go into Keynote, Illustrator, Canva, whatever, and build your frames. So just steal the screenshots from this particular live and use that as a base.
Good call. Yeah, so there's a couple. Terrence, thanks for joining us. How's it going?
Going good, man.
Where are you calling in from?
From Gilroy, California.
Oh wow, we got a whole worldwide
Smells like garlic
thing here.
Somebody knows.
So
I used to work at Apple. That was a quick hunt. Run down to Gilroy and get some garlic food.
so someone was asking about the layouts. We haven't made any major changes to the layouts. It's something that's high on our list to add to give you guys more layout options. But right now it's going to be completely automatic. For the 3-up and the 2-up, you essentially have. And take you out, Terrence. No offense. You've always had the crop, what we call the cropped split screen, and the uncropped split screen, which is just kind of putting everyone without chopping off the sides. For the 4-up, it's always going to do this Brady Bunch style 4-up, and then for the 5th, 6th, 7th camera, it just adds it to a grid. But we think it's pretty good, but there are other options, like people ask for different side-by-side views, kind of an uneven split screen,
It's coming.
multiple picture-in-pictures, and that's all coming soon. We're really
Can I
excited
ask a question, guys?
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me ask a question. So if there is 5 or 6 or 10 people that get this link and they're going to all go into the green room, or it stops at 4 and tells the other people there's too many people in the green room?
The latter. It's going to limit you to 4. So if someone else was to call in right now, it would work. But then if a 4th person tried to come in, a 5th person tried to come in, they would just get a message saying that you try to add them and you get a message saying that you can't add that 5th person.
They'll come into that. They'll ring. You'll see them ringing, but you won't be able to pick up the call.
So you have to be very careful then with your guests sharing their screen, I would say, because they get that link. You basically have a DDoS on your stream that you're running at that point, right? I mean,
if you shared your screen and it was Chrome, that's in the URL.
That's how I got into this stream, right? Is I basically went to your screen, wrote down the link, and then popped in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to think about that a little bit, because by default it will share your whole screen and you will be able to see that link in there. So maybe we need a link and a password, something like that.
Yeah, or you need more people like me that are going to be nefarious, right? To check this stuff out.
Well, I'm actually surprised that we only got you. That other people weren't. We didn't get like a whole flood of people. But
but then I think about a show like mine or like Diana, where you actually put the link there on purpose so that you can have people call in for help.
Yeah.
So like we want them to have that, but we also have the moderation of the green room. So
then I'm not understanding then what you're saying, because that was my question. So if 42 people come in, all 42 people are in the green room, and I get to pick which 4 I want, or there's only 4 people allowed in the green room?
So they will all show up in your list in your interview window with the answer button and the hang up button, but you won't be able to, you will only be able to answer 4 people at any given time, and that includes green room people. So They could be sitting there waiting to join. They're not any sort of green room, but they could be waiting for their turn for you to like pick up on them. So
how would we know who they are?
If we
Just
were
by the
doing
name?
a show,
it'll have a name in there, yeah. So actually, you know what I can show off while I have you guys on here is the new automatic titles. Let me show you guys how this works by bringing up my screen here. So you can see that when
I'm loving this, by the way, guys. So don't think of it any other way. I'm just trying to help you out here. So
Yeah,
I'm really loving this.
So
Skype is killing me.
So take a look here at when Terrence called in and Doc called in, their names came in automatically. And you can see that when they went to join, the website asked them for their name. They entered their name, and that's what came in automatically. Now, if I wanted to change this, like say I was like, oh, you know what? I want this to say Doc Rock, because that's everyone knows Doc Rock. I can actually go in, I can just edit this, type in a different name, press return, and that's going to edit down. It's going to automatically change down here. So it's
and that will stick. So the next time he calls, it will remember what you called him.
So the guest can provide their default name. If you don't like it, you can change it. And the links are also quite customizable. I don't think I need to share my screen for this, but if I want to put them on the left, all I have to do is grab one of them and drag that over, and now they'll be over on the left. Likewise, I can throw them all on the right, and you can see they're all linked. So they're always going to look consistent across all your scenes, across all of your camera windows automatically. You can also
so even the font change too, right?
Yeah, so if I want to change the style, it's the same as editing a text overlay has always been. If I want to make it like 48 size and dark green, I'm so bad at styling these things. It always just looks awful. Okay, dark blue. And see, that's going to change. See how I'm just not good at this.
That isn't so good.
I'm just going to change that right back. But but the basic idea is the styling is completely consistent throughout your show. It's going to stick and hopefully be really automatic and easy. You can still hide these. So you can see I can bring there's this little T button here. You can't see it here. There's this little T button here. And if I want to hide Terrence's overlay, I can hide it and it will go away. I can bring it in manually. And it will remember whether in each scene, whether you want the title to be in there or not. And one other thing that I haven't mentioned. One other thing I haven't mentioned is we have added these fly-in titles. Now, these apply to regular text overlays too. When you're making a text overlay, I'm going to show you right now. When I'm making a new text overlay, you can see up here there's a new option to fly in. I can pick that, press return, and you see now it will fly right in automatically. And when you hide it, it will of course fly out. Now there aren't any settings for this yet. I mean, there's no speed setting or direction setting. It's gonna fly in from the side that it's closest to. So if it was over here, it's just gonna fly out that direction. And I have set the titles in advance. I set them to fly in. So you can see if I switch to a scene of just me, and then I switch back to that 4-up, you can see all those titles are gonna slide in, and that's all customizable. So we hope you like that. We know there's some room for more customization, like the margin at the bottom of the text, and the rounded corners. All those settings are not customizable yet, but we're working on it.
One small piece of feedback when you're sharing your screen, on the guest side here, it's very small, so it's really hard to see what's going on the guest side.
Yeah, that's.
So were you doing live demo mode or screen share at that?
I'm using live demo mode, and that's getting sent back out to you guys, to Doc and Terrence. The view of the show that Doc and Terrence are seeing is not 1080, right, Ken? It's not the full resolution that's coming through to YouTube. We want to kind of spare your internet connection a little bit. But that is good feedback.
We cranked it down a little bit, and it's also not going to be like 60 FPS if like your shows. It's just, your guests are going to get a good enough feed, but it's having to encode that and sending it out to all your guests. That would destroy your internet connection if your computer was sending out like 5 simultaneous HD feeds. that would be a disaster. But
especially
Now,
on screen share where there's a lot of randomness of people moving
Yeah.
around windows and stuff, that's just going to make it go crazy.
Yeah, and then since the guests come in as just like cameras do in Ecamm Live, Tracy is asking about moving the guest inside the window, and yeah, you
Yes.
have full control. So say like I wanted to make Ken and I a little larger to kind of match the. So like say your guest comes on and your guest is like way bigger than you, and so a side by side would just look goofy. So like say I was like say I'm like the host, and then I bring on Doc, and he's like, and we want to do the crop split screen, and
I think I'm the size of both twins
you
taped together.
you probably are in real life a lot bigger than me. But if I wanted to balance out the size, actually, you know what? I already did. So here's my regular camera option. I can use Ecamm Live Zoom Pan feature to adjust the size of my camera and kind of like line up our eyes, so that we're balanced. And also, I
and
can
you
change.
could do that for the guest too.
Yeah, and you can also adjust the guest. Doc's picture looks amazing. I don't have to adjust his picture. But say I was bringing in Ken, and we kind of wanted to match each other. I'll bring in Ken a little bit, and I can say, well, our skin tone doesn't match. So before the show, what I did was I actually adjusted our skin tones. So here's what Ken looked like
If they're not
before.
already twin enough.
Here's what Ken looked like before. And I
Oh, that's
said,
awesome.
well, like I'll increase the gamma. Maybe like you look a little green, so I'm gonna like change the tint a little bit, and the temperature. Okay, now I'm just making a mess of it. But it
You
is.
need some Marshall Fox LUTs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need some LUTs up in here.
we do need.
You know,
LUTs.
Ken, if you come to my house, your skin tone could look like mine in like a week.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna blame the fluorescent lights in that office.
And
So,
by the way, Ken, you're gonna want to stay away from Glenn for a while because taking off the shaka is the same as taking home lava rocks. So he's probably going to have some bad luck for a minute. But I'll ask the Mini
Speaking
Hune
of
to leave
Brady
him
Bunch.
alone.
Speaking of Brady Bunch, right, Doc?
right.
Yes.
So what did we show everything that we added?
No, we
no.
didn't teach them
No
about
way.
comments for the guests.
Oh yeah.
Because
So,
I think that's super key. Like to me, it's one of the most clutch features in the whole setup.
so I think Ken was showed that off briefly when he shared his screen. But one of the neat things about it is when you are when you are a guest, and our goal is to make you like not have to open up Facebook or YouTube and watch your own show. There's a lot of reasons why. One is it's going to be like 10 seconds delayed. The audio is going to feed back into your show. It's going to crush your processor.
And it's a dog.
Yeah. So
Frankly.
when you join as a guest, you will get a little sidebar where you can view the comments. It's beta, but we think that all the comments are coming in properly. The avatars aren't in there yet. We'll get the avatars in, and for Restream, we'll get the platform icons in there so you can see where they're commenting from. That's not in there quite yet. And
Very nice.
And what we'd also like to do is make it so the guest and the host can star comments that they like. So as they come in, like
you guys know I've been asking for stuff like that for a long time.
So as a comment comes in, both the host and the guest can say, "Oh, there's a good one," star it, and then it will go into like a moderated list. So
Please.
that's what's coming next.
Very helpful because that helps with remote producers as well. So for the people that do that type of thing, like Tim Son or whatever, like they would be able to have a person to sort of line up comments for you. And this is great too, because I was thinking in the aspect of, you guys remember the old sports call shows, right? So like you guys would be the regular host. I would be, say, I'm Big Poppy, and then Terrence is coming in as the fan, and then the next fan can come in, and the next fan can come in. And so that's the great thing about the list.
That is one thing you could not do with Skype. You could not really do a call-in show because as soon as with the Skype integration, as soon as someone calls in, they're part of the show. There's no green room concept there at all. So we think that this will help with that. So someone can be called in, they can be waiting in the wings, and their audio will not be getting piped in. That is one thing that I didn't mention is this feature gives you a lot of control over the guest. So you can, I know this is really small, but each guest.
I noticed you had the audio of us on while it was just you two with audio and video, so that was really pretty cool.
Yeah. So each guest has its own volume control. So if someone is louder, you can balance it out. individually. You can mute each individual guest. So if I wanted to mute Terrence, say something, Terrence. Yeah, so he's muted. So you can mute them all individually. So it gives you a lot of control over what's going on.
This is great.
And James asking about the placeholders. We could just show that quickly.
And the placeholders is very cool too. I forgot about that.
So if you missed a little earlier, I was saying that these blue buttons here, these are really for if you didn't set up scenes in advance, but if you're setting up scenes, we have this new placeholders feature that
turns them into cameras. Basically.
What's that?
It basically turns them into cameras.
Yeah. So if say I want to make a new scene, and this is like a day in advance, I'll turn on my green screen. Maybe I'll put myself in here. And I'm going to say, well, someone's going to be calling in tomorrow. I don't have them on the line right now. You can see this this guest placeholder here. I'll add that in as a split screen. So now you see that it's the guest 2 placeholder is over here. I can do whatever I want. I can put in my overlays, do whatever I need, and that's going to stay there. Then the next day, when your guest calls in, you can say assign guest 2 and punch him into that placeholder. So it's a really elegant solution for setting up scenes in advance and then being able to just sort of plug them into your pre-set up scenes. So let us know what you think of that. And you can see now in my switcher. Now in my switcher, you see that where previously it just said guest doc. Now it says guest 2 doc. So he's still in the switcher, but he's assigned to that guest 2 placeholder.
And he'll pop back into there automatically next time.
And again, that's going to make it very, very helpful when you have a remote producer, like the things that people really, really want so they can focus on, their connection, have somebody else show up in the back end.
Absolutely.
So clutch. Absolutely
clutch.
Clutch.
You just need the comment curation now and you're there. I mean,
well, it's a lot. So we are like so energized right now about all the stuff we want to add on top of this, because this was a time-consuming project for sure. Like this took us.
This is amazing, guys. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
This took a
One other quick follow-on question, guys. I know you were working with an eGPU before. Is this feature going to be helped by an eGPU or not?
Ken?
It's not something that we're recommending people bother with. The graphics card, the list, it does a lot of things, but it doesn't really improve a live stream per se.
Okay.
If you are one of those people who loves to have your multi-screen action, like a eGPU will definitely be good for that, because those extra screens take up a lot of GPU power, and there won't be a lot left for Ecamm Live. But otherwise, not a huge thing. Yeah.
I tell people all the time the key element of an eGPU is pre-production and post-production, but actual live streaming, not so much. But
rendering,
pre-production and post-production are bigger parts of your show that most people want to know, right? Especially if you're repurposing clips or building screens and doing all that stuff. That's when it plays in. But actually, live streaming, not so much. Screaming, not so much.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's a common assumption and a good assumption that the video encoding happens on the GPU, and it just doesn't, right, Ken? I mean, that's just not what happens. When you're live streaming and you're encoding your video, it's happening either on the CPU or on a special encoding chip in your computer or your phone. And that's
if you're running something else on 2 or 3 monitors, then it takes the load off of that, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Once
the graphics card basically has 3 jobs. It's running all your screens. It's doing compute tasks for like offline rendering and stuff, and it is doing all of your like 3D and 2D graphic compositing. Ecamm Live is definitely using the GPU for all the compositing, but it turns out that in our situation, an eGPU isn't ideal, because the data would have to go out to the eGPU, get composited, and then sent back to your computer to get encoded, and it just doesn't improve things a lot.
So if anyone understood that, apply for a job at Ecamm Network.
We just went way geeky on everybody on the stream right now.
Yeah, so
I got
in a
you,
nutshell,
Ken. I got you.
we are taking huge advantage of the GPU in Ecamm Live. That's something we're able to do as a native Mac app, much better than something like a web-based tool. But the actual process of encoding the video is not something that happens on the GPU. So that, I think we've really showed off most everything we want you guys to try. Try bring in the guests, do the ad hoc and the placeholders, and wow, yeah. What else is there to and like we mentioned?
One thing we did not touch on is how the interview feature is basically going to work from a plan standpoint. Like we said in the beginning, this is a pro-only feature, and so it won't be available to people who are in the standard plan. And also, we had a goal to make this super high quality, and what we realized pretty early on is that in building our own video conferencing service, we cannot make it unlimited for people. So we decided that we would give people an upper limit on the amount of time that they can connect to guests. It's a pretty generous limit. We don't expect people are going to be running into it. But for example, if you are on a pro annual plan, you'll get 250 hours of interview time. We think that's a lot. But if you are going to be running like a all week long stream, you just have to be mindful that it's not an unlimited service. So take a look. When Glenn was sharing his screen, you could see at the very top of the interview window, there is it said on Glenn's computer, 25 hours of interview time remaining, and that's because that's just keeping track of how long he's connected to everybody. So that's what that
and you can purchase more blocks if you need it for a special event or something. You can purchase more blocks of time.
Yeah, our intent is not to. Our intent with the keeping track of the time is not to sort of go nickel and diming everyone up over time and acting like a phone company. We want to we just want to avoid a situation where the service is getting slammed because people decide that Ecamm Live is much more convenient than Zoom and running all their meetings.
It's not per guest. So like right now, this is only counting as real time. It's not counting as triple. It's if you have 4 guests connected, that's not going to use up 4 of your hours for an hour. It's just your whole show, no matter who you have connected.
I have a good question for you guys that I was going to ask too, which is what is the speed of that you need for a network and also for the computer in order to take use of this and have up to 4 guests?
That's a good question. We haven't really got metrics for the bandwidth requirements. It is definitely, since it's all happening on the client side, there is definitely an additional bandwidth requirement for bringing on guests. Like it's not like something where the whole thing is happening out in the cloud somewhere. My connection to the conferencing server is in addition to me pushing this out to YouTube right now. So it probably is adding a couple megabits of additional requirement. It looks like Ken got a little chunkier than you over the past couple minutes. I think your internet is flaking out.
I have to get out sooner. I'm in kind of a shared space, and the next person is kind of setting up. That's what you're hearing in the background.
Well, why don't I click you out of here? And,
definitely going max headroom.
Because thanks for joining us, Ken. I'm gonna hang up on you now. He's gone. And you see, I
think they were like, he's on. Let's make as much noise as possible so he hurries up. Because it's like you were trying to drop stuff.
I had him in here as a placeholder, so that's why this space was left. And in the final version, actually, it'll just be a black square. It won't have the little silhouette if you're live. So I can just take him out here. All right.
Somebody wanted to know if he was on his phone or if he was on a computer.
Ken was on the most ridiculous setup ever.
You can say Jake.
Well, I mean, all our stuff is here in the office. We figured like it wouldn't make sense to actually like have him call from the office. So he was somewhere else and was scrambling around for camera and cables and chargers and everything. So let me see if I can do the.
Yeah, this is super cool, guys. You're gonna be able to do so much with this. And now you remember the whole point of the beta is to find out what's wrong. And so I gotta remind people because since I'm gonna be there moderating it, hello. We want you to find out the things that are wrong, and then if you can, take detailed notes of it, and then submit that so you can use that, so the team can use that to try to fix things. Don't use the beta and they go, oh, the beta sucks, it doesn't work, I'm pissed. That doesn't help. We don't know what didn't work, whatever. Like you gotta actually get in there and try stuff. The thing from the phone, for instance, like I had trouble with phone from Safari, but in Chrome, Edge, Firefox on the phone, it worked perfectly fine.
Nice.
So that might be something.
What is weird? When I tried Chrome on my iPhone, it acts like the phone has no camera. Maybe there's some new weird version of the phone Chrome, but I was stumped that it actually.
It's the iOS 14 camera permissions is a lot more strict, so you have to go into the settings under Chrome and re-enable the camera.
Well, this is the weird part. I went into the settings for Chrome, and there's no camera and mic option.
No, it's in settings for iPhone.
Right, it's not there. I go to Chrome, and then
really?
There's no.
Let me check.
I mean,
I'm not calling you a liar.
I newly installed Chrome, and there's
it's
no.
not like Apple never put speed bumps in there for Google or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but there's no camera and mic permissions, so I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna still say we, but we don't do that. Everyone thinks that we don't do that. We're not that petty. We're rich. Hello. Yeah, there is no setting for camera access.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Correct.
I'm sure much there, Doc.
I'm sure the Chrome team will fix it.
You know where else? Let me check real quick. It might actually be in the camera setting under privacy.
Oh.
So let me check real quick. Under privacy, I hit camera. I scroll down, and no Chrome. What the heck is going on here?
I'm sure they'll
That's
fix it.
weird. Yeah, I'm sure they'll fix it too.
But so if you missed, we went over a couple of details at the very top of the show. This is going to be so how do you get this new feature? It is we're doing what's called a public beta, and now with Ecamm Live, it's interesting because it's like a app that runs your live show, right? So it can't really mess up. So like, what is a beta for Ecamm Live if it might have issues? So what we try to do at Ecamm is only put things in beta that we have a really good feeling about. Like, we're not going to release a beta that is just glitchy and buggy. But that said, there may still be issues here and there that we want you to tell us about. And so we're releasing this right now at a point where we think that you're going to have a really good experience. If you do use the beta, go ahead and use it for your, try it first, of course. But if it's working for you, go ahead and use it for your live show. How do you get it? Go ahead and join our beta group now on Facebook. We'll also be putting together like a little landing page if you're not a Facebook person or you'd rather just not be in that group. But we do encourage you to join the Facebook beta group. And this is where we're going to post the public beta on October 1st. And that beta version is something where if you're on the beta track, it'll automatically update to the latest beta. So you can go ahead and download the beta now. And then when we post on October 1st, that beta will automatically update to the latest beta, which will have this new interview window. Did that make any sense?
I will say, Glenn, I'm super pleased with every beta I've had. I've never had like a show-stopping, and I mean that in double entendre sense of a bug on any beta that I've had, and I've appreciated how solid they've been over the last year and a half, 2 years that I've been doing it.
Cool. Yeah, and I'll say too, the other thing that's really clutch about the betas is they're independent apps, but they sit next to each other. So you could open the beta, but you don't have to redo all your scenes and all
that's
your
a good point that I forget to mention is that, like you said, you can have both the beta and regular version in your applications folder. You can say, which one do I want to use today? Every once in a while, there may be like a little thing that gets smashed if you run the old version. I have a feeling that if you add one of those little fly-in text overlays, and then you fire up the non-beta, it might turn it back into a non-fly-in overlay. Some minor thing like that. So you might want to stick with one or the other, but it's not like the Big Sur beta where once you upgrade your computer, you're kind of taking this crazy plunge and you're never going to be able to go back. You can have both. You can have both loaded up at the same time.
I would not recommend that at this point.
I like to say something just because I'm the backup freak, okay? Because when I was working at Apple as a genius and like developing the Genius program, one of the biggest things was people losing data and then saying and swearing bad words at us because they didn't back their stuff up properly. So I'm very jaded about backup. Ecamm makes it very simple. You can literally just take every scene, just select all, and drag it to the desktop, and then stick it in a folder, and you're backed up. Or you can take all of those scenes and drag it to a USB stick and you're backed up. So if a scene eats it or you just mess it up, because I do, throw it away, go to your memory stick, pull back the one that's working, and then start again. But just not back up your scenes.
That's kind of like a feature of Ecamm Live that may not be so visible, but
export.
Yeah, exporting a scene will not only export the layout and the cameras you have picked, it will also export any overlays you have in those scenes, as well as the position of those overlays. All your settings are kind of encapsulated in a scene file that you can just drag to your desktop, and then to load it back into Ecamm Live, you just double click it, and it pops right back in.
I never knew that.
The only thing that's not going to come along with that is like if you're rolling a pre-recorded video, the video is not going to be in that scene file because then the file would just be
huge. It's just huge. Yeah, but import and export scenes is gorgeous. It's such a simple thing, and I don't think a lot of people notice that feature, but it's a time saver. And even like someone could literally send me a folder of all of their scenes and say, hey, you're the designer, fix my scenes. And I could bless them all up and then send it back. And you just have to relabel the cameras because obviously it's A64 would be missing if you have a Canon. But I mean, the general layout and stuff would be fine.
Yeah,
you just reset the cameras.
And since I mentioned Big Sur, we got the obligatory Big Sur compatibility comment. It looks... So Big Sur is the next version of Mac OS. It should be coming out in the next month or so. I'm guessing 10. No, wait, they're calling it Mac OS 11.
Yes.
Just to confuse everyone, but it's it seems to work fine. There's, I think in the public beta, there's one known issue in that the cool Ecamm Live feature where when you plug in your phone, the phone screen comes in as a camera source is just not working at all. And it doesn't look like anything we can fix on our end. Unfortunately, it looks like an operating system issue. Hopefully, the Apple will fix that. But yeah, it is. We do have members who are running Big Sur with mostly success. So that should be out soon. And then yeah, so we're really excited about what you guys think of this. Our goal, like I said, make it easy. Make it obvious. We hope you don't have to go and watch a course to figure this out.
This couldn't come sooner. I was just on a stream on the weekend with my buddy who I recommended get Ecamm Live, and we were doing Skype, and it was just a train wreck, with him trying to keep, everything not from going all, as I said, max headroom on it. And it had two guests, me and another guest, and he was running the show. And yeah, it's couldn't come faster.
Yeah. Well, with any sort of a remote interview show setup, regardless of what you're using, I mean, it's so critical to do a test in advance. For so many reasons, internet, lighting, camera, mic, and you can just kind of call it a sound check. If you don't want to insult the person, and say you think they're gonna show up with a open window in the background and on their phone with a dishwasher going in the background, you're gonna say, you know what, we're gonna do a sound check, a quick sound check, get you on there.
Oh yeah, always. I always keep people 15 in advance, and we actually have test Facebook groups that we have to run our streams to those test Facebook groups where internal people can watch those and make sure that everything's going off smoothly before we actually do the real one.
Test groups, test channels, underrated. Like most people don't do it. And they're like, how do I test out my stream? I don't know. Make a dummy account and knock yourself out. Go for it. Yes. One last question, Glenn, that I don't know if you covered or if it's possible. Can you do a 2 or 3 headed pip and still have the overlay or the presentation or the share screen running? Like a standard pip screen.
Yeah, I mean, it should all the camera switching and layout stuff will still work the way it did before. So if I wanted to like roll a video, okay, I need a video to roll, of course. So like if I want to just roll this video here,
check out youtube.com/DocRock. Oh, there you go.
So now you can see we're all down here in the corner, just like we were before. And then I can switch back to camera mode. We should come right back. So it's so you can still do your presentation. You can bring in your picture-in-picture. And here's one thing that we're adding very soon is, and Ian is gonna be really excited about this. We're adding the extra picture-in-pictures, camera overlays. So you'll be able to just toss cameras wherever the heck you want them.
Thank you.
If you want 10 cameras over here and 7 cameras down here,
Bravo.
any shape you want. So we got that going over the weekend, and it's cool. So you'll just be able to say, I want to put Terrence here at the top, and I want it to be a square, and I want to put this guy over here. It's gonna be crazy.
Perfect. I'm gonna just stand on my soapbox about I need to see a real meter because I'm an audio guy. That's all I want. Just you don't have to do the work. Just make VST plugin compatible so I can see actual meter.
Oh, here come the feature requests.
No, that's it. That's my only one. I'm just a weird audio guy. That's all I care. I have found a way to work around it, which I'll make a tutorial and I'll explain to you how to do it. But yeah, it's very, very just sound is important for streams, and everybody spends so much time. What camera? Start with what mic? If you sound good, the rest is good. And that Shure is amazing, by the way. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, amen on the sound. The sound is so important. Anyway, hey Ken, you're gonna after this gonna have to go back and decide with Ken on whether or not you guys want guests again, because you've got one person, Michael Grippencan, says they just want to hear you crisp and clear and no guests with their corny jokes or whatever it says, stupid jokes. Yeah, so you should have to reevaluate the guest thing.
So someone asked about this mic. It's a Shure
MV88.
And the reason I'm holding it is because at the very beginning of the show, everyone was saying that I was soft because it was down on the desk. And then I just picked it up and I started holding it. And then everyone stopped saying I was soft. So I've just been kind of clutching it for the whole show. I don't know. But it's a cool looking mic and it seems to work.
You're doing a good job.
But I hope everyone can hear. And then so let's wrap this up. Why don't we go and get this ready for beta? And one last thing I want to show everyone before we go is a kind of another little hidden thing here. You can see my screen now. If you go to the help menu, which is like on the Mac is like a menu that just no one ever clicks on because it's just never helpful at all. But it's in every app. It's like, have you ever clicked on the help menu and ever gotten help? But if you click on help, you can actually pick, you can't do it while you're streaming, but there's this contact support menu item in here. And that's going to bring in an in-app chat where you can send a message to us and get in touch with us. That is our preferred method of sending us feedback and questions about the beta. And if you run into an issue, go ahead to that help menu, contact support. It's basically the same thing as going to the little chat bubble on the website, but so much cooler because we'll be able to tell exactly who you are immediately. And when we write back, it's going to pop up in the app. So go ahead and try that out. All right, guys, should we go out on a little music? And
I just want to tell everybody one last thing is super important. There's 130 people watching right now, and there's 51 likes. Everyone smash the like button. It's important for you
what's
to
going on?
Smash away. Hit it. Go to your fake accounts and hit it. Smash the like button.
I did it just now. So
all right, there we go. Now you can get us out of here. I got to go do my DJ show. Let's do this.
Let's do this thing. Okay. Oh wait. Wait, now I'm under pressure. You have a DJ show. You're not gonna like my cheesy stock music here. But here we go.
Hey,
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you on our next broadcast. Oh, we got someone trying to bomb us in here.
Ken and Glenn.
Frank's trying to join. All right, bye everyone. I'll see you later.